WAPT News Live at 5 starts now.
A huge disturbance in court from a murder suspect on trial, the target of his tirade. Runoff election day in the metro, we are covering some of the biggest races, including the contest for the capital city.
Oklahoma needs to get everything that it needs right away.
Help in the face of disaster, the federal response to the devastating tornado in Oklahoma.
Now, your weather first.
These are the latest pictures, and as I was saying yesterday, this was going to be a borderline EF5, and they did declare the winds were in excess of 200 miles an hour today. EF5 tornado, that's the strongest on the scale. There was plenty of places where everything was just wiped off the foundation, and so just a terrible situation over there in Moore, Oklahoma, a suburb to the south of Oklahoma City.
And, of course, we've got the storm that's coming later tonight, David.
That's right. You see all the red areas. Those are tornado watches to our north and west. Our evening is quiet. There's no weather trouble to worry about this evening. And what I'm anticipating, the stuff in eastern Arkansas will move across north Mississippi and pass by to our north. The activity in northeast Texas right now, that's what we call linear, more of a straight line, less of a tornado threat in my mind, so I'm not expecting it to be that bad as far as tornadoes. I could see some high winds in the Arklatex, but for us, my anticipation right now is that complex of thunderstorms will move into our area well after midnight in a weakening state.
Okay, that's
so
what we'd like to
I'm
hear.
Optimistic, but it does bear close watching through the evening.
Okay, more from you coming up in minutes. All right, David, thanks so much. Well, as voters head to the polls today, it is a tight race in the Jackson mayoral runoff.
Yeah, Stephanie, our exclusive poll numbers show the candidates are separated by just 4 percentage points. You can see it right there. Businessman Jonathan Lee has the support of 46% of potential voters, while City Councilman Chokwe Lumumba has 42%. Some 12% remain undecided. Well, election officials say the turnout has been pretty steady today, but as 16 WAPT's Andrew Kinsey reports, low turnout has been a problem in past runoff elections.
A lot need to be straightened out, and hoping we can get some change.
We need to pick a person that will lead our city and do a great job doing it.
Early morning lines were short Tuesday in the Democratic runoff for Jackson mayor.
Do people show up for runoff elections?
Not as much as a general election, no.
In the 2009 Democratic runoff, only about 33% of registered voters showed up.
Compared to, I guess, 2 weeks ago, up, down, about the time?
It's a decrease. I really don't understand that, why it is so hard, because it's such an important part of our lives.
Monday, our exclusive 16 WAPT tracking poll had this runoff too close to call. Both Jonathan Lee and Chokwe Lumumba know every vote Tuesday night is key.
I think it could possibly be the fact that people are tired of hearing the campaign commercials.
Some voters claim voter fatigue is the issue, while others say bickering between candidates may have turned some people away.
And it's kind of worrisome in a way.
Will you be glad when this election is over?
Sure will.
Why?
Sure.
In Jackson, Andrew Kinsey, 16 WAPT News.
Well, voter turnout in Northeast Jackson has been strong. Election officials up at Casey Elementary say there has been no shortage of voters today. Now, coming up tonight at 6, where new polling locations had to be opened in North Jackson. Well, for the most part, things have been smooth at the polls today, but there have been a few problems with machines.
We came on, but it wouldn't accept the ballots, so we had to call the tech.
My machine that I put my ballot in had a paper jam, so I had to wait around to make sure that my ballot got put into the machine.
Machines at Timberline Elementary School had paper jam problems, as you heard, and over at Precinct 84, poll workers say their new machine would not accept ballots. City election officials say the problems were minor and didn't stop anyone from voting. Here is a look at some of the other races that will be decided today. 2 Jackson City Council seats are down to a runoff. In Ward 4, it's between Derek Trimble and DeKeither Stamps. And in Ward 5, it's incumbent Councilman Charles Tillman taking on Betty Dagner Cook. Meanwhile, in Canton, incumbent William Truly and Arnell Bolden go head-to-head today in the Democratic runoff for mayor. It took 2 days after the polls closed to declare them the top 2 vote-getters of the primary. The candidates say they are hoping things go better today. Also in Brandon, citizens will vote on who will be their alderman at large. It is between Republican incumbent James Morris and Republican Roy Nicholson. And remember, for full election coverage, just head on over to our website, the address, wapt.com, for the latest election runoff returns. Well, Stephanie, it was a shocking day in Hinds County Court today.
Yeah, Darren. In fact, the man standing trial for the kidnapping and murder of an 81-year-old woman put on a show in a courtroom today. 16 WAPT's Tammy Eswick joins us live with James Hutto's outburst. Tammy.
Yes, Stephanie, James Hutto is the murder suspect accused of killing Ethel Winstead Simpson, and he put on quite the show inside the Hinds County Courthouse today.
I don't give a about no death penalty. I want y'all go straight to hell. All of them. And you too, you're going straight to hell, every one of you. Don't call me what, though. Call me whatever.
You can see from the video he was cursing, and he showed his middle finger to the courtroom right after the jury left for a break. Now, the judge warned Hutto not to have any more outbursts. Today was a big day for the prosecution. We heard from the victim's son and brother, and we also heard about videotape that shows Hutto and Simpson at a Vicksburg casino. The prosecution tried to play that video, but they were unsuccessful. They had some type of equipment problem, so the judge recessed for tomorrow at 9 a.m. Live from the Hinds County Courthouse, Tammy Eswick, 16 WAPT News.
All right, Tammy, very eventful in court today. Thanks so much. Jackson police hope you'll recognize two men who robbed a T-Mobile store. We've got video of the men who got away with nearly 70 smartphones from that store on I-55 North yesterday. They robbed the workers at gunpoint. Police say they forced the workers to lie on the floor and then duct taped them. These are images of their getaway car. Call Crime Stoppers tonight at 601-355-TIPS if you can help police make arrest. Now to the tornado disaster in Oklahoma. The number of deaths dropped to 24 people, including 9 children. More than 200 people have been injured as a result of that tornado. Numerous homes and businesses are damaged, while some were just wiped away. The Red Cross and Salvation Army are already on the ground offering first aid and assistance. A former 16 WAPT news anchor is heading to Oklahoma to assist in the tornado-ravaged areas. The Salvation Army of Jackson is sending Brad McMullen, who is from that area. He serves as the advisory board chairman. McMullen is leaving tomorrow and will serve as a counselor and aid and assist the search, rescue, and recovery on the ground. Meanwhile, President Obama is pledging urgent relief for those tornado victims. 16 WAPT's Nicole Killian has the federal response from Washington.
Stephanie, the president called this one of the most destructive storms in the nation's history and said his prayers are with the people of Oklahoma. As the painstaking search for victims continued in Moore, Oklahoma.
We will get through this, we will overcome, and we will rebuild, and we will regain our strength.
At the White House, President Obama vowed to do whatever is needed right away.
The people of Moore should know that their country will remain on the ground, there for them, beside them, as long as it takes.
The president has already signed a disaster declaration to free up federal aid. The National Guard deployed troops, and FEMA dispatched search and rescue teams, as well as its administrator, Craig Fugate.
Our job is to support, and it's unfortunate that we are once again seeing what tornadoes can do.
On Capitol Hill, flags were lowered to half staff.
Pray for the families in Oklahoma.
Prayers and moments of silence observed on the House and Senate floors, where there was a bipartisan outpouring of support.
My colleagues, our hearts go out today.
Whenever tragedy strikes any part of our nation, it really strikes us all.
Members of the Oklahoma delegation grateful as they left the Capitol to go back home.
We're used to helping each other. We have everybody dropping everything and going into the Moore area to help them.
Another person traveling to the region, Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano. The White House says she'll be there tomorrow. In Washington, Nicole Killian, 16 WAPT News.
The president was briefed on the disaster earlier today by Secretary Napolitano and other White House leaders. For a list of phone numbers for the Red Cross and the Salvation Army to help those Oklahoma tornado victims, be sure to go to our website, WAPT.com, and click on the Oklahoma tornado story to get all of that information. All right, we want to give you a look at some dark skies hovering over Dallas this afternoon. There is a tornado watch right now for part of Texas. And David, you are watching those storms that are coming here much later.
It's going to be much later. Storms have cleared Dallas. Temperatures dropped to 62. Storms to our north up towards Memphis, non-severe for the most part through the Delta of Mississippi. They will bypass us to the north, which is great news. And behind that, there's another line of storms between Dallas and Shreveport. Again, linear in fashion. High wind is probably going to be the threat. That will arrive here sometime in the middle of the night, but it should do so in a weakening state. So I'm optimistic that it may not get too rough here, but it certainly does bear watching. All those details, Stephanie, are coming up.
Angry protesters outside the IRS building in downtown Jackson, why they say the government is out of control. And Jody Arias talked to the jury that will decide her fate. You are watching 16 WAPT live at 5.
Winner of the Associated Press Best Newscast for third year in a row. Winner, Best Weathercast. And winner for Best Sportscast. This is 16 WAPT News, the 1-2-1.